Good morning, everybody. How are you? Now, a few more to join. We'll give everybody a chance to join in, and then we'll start. We'll just give it a minute or two. After we have 26 lovely stuff. I'm just going to give it one more minute there just for everybody to join. There's quite a few of you on the call this morning, so you can keep yourself on mute if you want, if you're shy. If you'd like to ask a question, you can absolutely just shout out, or you can use the chat function and you can put your question in there. But we'll go through it all in a moment. We'll just give it one more minute for people to join in. So I know there's quite a few people on the call, and they're probably kind of wide and varied the roles across the platform. So what we'll do is we'll be kind of looking at this from an end user point of view, where you're going to place an order and do a delivery on the system. But if there are any senior managers or ops managers on the call towards the end, we'll just keep you on. Basically, if you'll be approving orders, we'll show you how to approve an order at the end of that session, because not everybody will have to do it. Now. Okay, so I think we have nearly everybody there. See. Yeah, I think that's probably everybody. So what we'll do is we'll crack on, because we only have the hour. But as I said, if you do have questions throughout the session, just feel free to put it into the chat function, or you can raise your hand and I can come to your question then as well. But for now, I'm just going to start this session.
Yeah, just make sure you're ready for all the.
There we go. We've Slims and Greenwich checks and stuff, and there's still a few. We'll give it another second, actually. Okay, so excellent stuff. So welcome everybody. Roland's my name, and I will be showing you this morning a little bit of Procure Wizard, just how to do your purchasing and your delivering on the system. Some of you I know are familiar with Workspace for logging in for different packages, but I'll show you this from the start of where you log into the system, search for learning, and then how to log into Procure Wizard then as well, and we'll go from there. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. If for any reason my screen pauses or drops out or anything like that, somebody can just shout at me and let me know. But you should be able to see my screen now any second.
This is the Procure Wizard thing, this one.
That's exactly what we are. So if anybody has any questions before the session, just let me know. But otherwise, we'll plow on with it. So for anybody who hasn't been on the system before or hasn't been on Workspace, you will receive an email invite inviting you to your Workspace, which is your combined login and kind of analytics section, all that kind of stuff. Your learning is contained in here as well. For anybody who's used Workspace before, you'll know where that is. But essentially, when you accept that invite, it's going to bring you into here, which is what we call our Workspace dashboard. And in here, you'll notice up in the top left-hand corner, we have this access button up here, okay? So to get into Procure Wizard, the first thing you do is you click on the access button, and you're going to see in here, you're going to have Procure Wizard, and you're going to click on that button to go into your purchasing portal, and it'll open within the Workspace here as well. But before I do that, I just want to show you where within Workspace we have what we call our Learning Center, and over here you'll be able to find video guides and tutorials on what we're going to cover this morning. So if you do want to go back and you want to refresh yourself on this, you can go into the Learning section here. So when I open up the Learning section, I get a new tab in here, and you'll see on the left-hand side, there's a few different options I have. You have home, dashboard, my activities, etc. But to find new learning in here, all you have to do is click on the learning section and click on find. Now, if you're not 100% sure what section within here you should be finding Procure Wizard, you'll see here there's a little Our Product section. And if you click on that, it'll show you the products that your company is connected to. And the one you'll be concerned with is in here in hospitality, Procure Wizard. You can also search in here just as a general search for ordering or delivering, but the two you'll be looking for here, Procure Wizard ordering and Procure Wizard delivering. When you select that learning section, it will then open up all of the little subheadings here. So how to place an order, how to leave a comment, creating a favorite, locating orders, all that kind of stuff. And this can be really useful just as a bit of a refresher after we've done this, once you're logged into Workspace for the first time, so that you can kind of figure out where you need to go first to start placing your orders if you can't remember. When you are ready to do the learning, you click up here on the little launch button and it'll bring you straight into the learning package then as such. So if I was to click on this here, you'll see here we have placing an order, leaving comments. You can do one at a time. You don't have to go through it all at once, but if it's just you want to do one or two pieces at a time, you can select these as well, okay? So they're within your workspace. As I said, when you go to the learning section, you can select find. You can either search here for Procure Wizard if you want, but the easiest thing to do is under the our product section in hospitality, you'll find Procure Wizard in here, and then you'll have your ordering and your delivering learning modules here where you can use them. To go into the actual system to start ordering, all you do is you click on the little button up here, you select Procure Wizard from the drop down, and it's going to bring you in then to what we call the Procure Wizard dashboard. So this is your ordering dashboard essentially, right? Now, as I go through this morning, there's lots of things that have been done for you. So when you log in for the first time, there'll be products automatically there, etc. And I'm just going to show you kind of a little bit of best practice of where everything is on the system, and then we'll look at placing an order and doing a couple of deliveries and the kind of few variations you might expect to see when you're having to do a delivery. Okay, so before I start, does anybody have a question? If you do, you can raise your hand, you can shout at me, or you can just pop it into the chat. But if everybody's happy, we'll start. Perfect. Okay, super. So when you're into Procure Wizard, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what you're going to see here first, and then I'll show you the couple of little areas really that kind of for yourselves, it's what you're going to want. Now, I'm on a demo site here at the moment, but obviously when you log in, you're going to see the sites that are relevant to you. You won't have to go trawling through all of the sites. The way Procure Wizard is done is that depending on where you work and your role, you will have access to what you need. So you don't have to go filtering through stuff. Only the stuff that's relevant to you will be here. On the Procure Wizard homepage, if you look up the top here, there's a couple of icons across the top, and these icons are the first one, your home button. So no matter where you end up on Procure Wizard, if you hit this home button, it's going to drop you back here to the landing page. This little shopping cart here is for creating orders, and I'm going to show you in a few minutes where we'll use this button here, the new basket button, to do the same thing. But essentially that's your create orders. Beside that, you have this little clipboard, which is the view orders, and this shows you every order in the system that's relevant to you. You may not see everything on your site, but you'll see all the ones that are relevant to your area of the business. For most end users, you don't really have to worry about what's in here, because I'll show you somewhere else where you can review what you need to deliver, etc. But it gives you a good overview of what's going on in the system, how many orders are outstanding, how many need to be delivered, etc. You'll hear me referring to doing delivery in Procure Wizard quite a bit. So obviously, when you deliver products into your business, somebody comes to the back door, they give you your products, you check the docket, and you sign it off. Delivery on Procure Wizard then is the next step where you have to come and just confirm what was delivered to the back door. You're basically duplicating that paper delivery docket on the system here. System does most of the work for you, and you'll see that in a few minutes as well. But that's what when I'm referring to delivery, I'm always talking about on Procure Wizard here itself. There is an admin section here, so there's these three little cogs at the top. These will bring you into the admin. For most of you, there'll be very little in here that'll be relevant. You'll have some reporting in here. You might have access to flash reports or the suppliers. Depending on your role, you'll have more or less access in there. But in a few minutes, I'll show you the three key areas that we'll focus on from an end user point of view, okay? The next one then is this little alarm bell here. If you have notifications on the system, you'll see them in here. Essentially, this could be if you placed an order and it had to go to somebody else in your business to be approved, then you get a little notification here to say that it's been approved or rejected, whatever it may be. And then the basket here with the number 2 on it is just an outstanding basket. And I'll explain what the baskets are in a few minutes, but you can have a number of these in here. Every single order you place on Procure Wizard that goes to a supplier is assigned a PO number automatically within the system. And if you're trying to find an order on the system and you know the PO number, you can search for it in here in the order ID. You'll get familiar with them. They're up in the millions, but that number just grows, and you'll kind of get familiar with recognizing what those PO numbers look like. If for whatever reason you don't know the PO number of an order, maybe it came in a few days ago, you don't have the docket to hand or whatever it might be, you can over here on the left-hand side in the order locator, search for it with the delivery docket number, the supplier's name, or even the invoice number if you know what that is. So up here in the top right hand corner is for the Procure Wizard PO number only. Over on the left hand side here, you can search with that same PO number, but also for delivery, invoice, etc., etc. So it's an easy way to track down your orders, okay? Up here in the top right hand corner, you'll see there's this little building. If you have access to more than one site, so if you have access to your head office or you're an area manager, you cover multiple sites, within here you'll be able to flick back and forth between the sites that you're doing the ordering for. For most of you, you're attached to one site, and in here you won't even need to click on anything. It'll automatically bring you to that purchasing site. Beside that, you have the little profile character. In here, you'll have your details. Here's your user ID number. You can view your profile, etc., and that's all in there for you. And then down below that, you'll see your name, your user ID, which is unique to you, and a little question mark here with some of your support options. So if you're ever looking for support or for the support team, you can come in here to the support options, and any support options that are available to you, you'll be able to click within them here. If you do log in here and you have access to the customer success portal, recommend just clicking on that button and registering it. It's where you can raise support cases and get a lot of information. Now, remember as well, within your workspace, when you first log into the system, you are going to have access to the Learning Center, which is really, really useful. And it's a much quicker way to find the information when you're looking for it, okay? So below that then, on the left-hand side, we have the order locator. We have this product locator on the left-hand side here. This can be useful to see if you're connected to a product anywhere in the system. It won't allow you to purchase it from this search, but it can kind of help to locate where a product is and where it's available. And I'll go through that in a little bit more detail with you in a little while. You can locate orders in here. So if you don't know the PO number, you don't know the delivery docket number, whatever it might be, you can use this then to filter by supplier, by sites, the delivery dates, all that kind of stuff. So it can be useful if you're not 100% sure what the order is, or if somebody coming in there now. Below that then, you have my daily tasks. Ultimately, you don't have to worry about that. It's from an end user point of view, it's not really going to be relevant to yourselves. And below that, you have my approvals. And like I said a little while ago, any of the senior managers or ops managers who might do order approval, at the end, I'll show you how you can go in there and you can review any orders that are awaiting approval for you. My reminders down the bottom left-hand side, this again is it's not locked to anything. You can use this if you want. You go in, you can create reminders, make them daily, weekly, monthly, whatever you want, and you can put any comments you want in there. And if you have to place an order on a Monday before 1 o'clock, you can come in here, set this reminder every Monday morning for 10 o'clock, whatever suits, and it'll remind you up here. You get a little notification as well to say you have it. So that reminder section is available to you. You don't necessarily have to use it, okay? Down the middle of the page here, you see there's 3 sections. We have quick launches, we have my favorites, and we have expected deliveries 28-day overview. For most of you as an end user on the system, really this is all you have to concern yourself with, right? Up here, you're going to have what's called new basket. You have my list of my favorites, and you have expected deliveries 28-day overview. Just to explain, okay? So when we're talking about baskets on Procure Wizard, we're talking about shopping baskets essentially, right? So your products are going to be divided up into mini markets. So you're going to have a food mini market, you might have a consumables market. We'll go from the perspective of a chef. So on any given day, you'll open a basket for food, you'll open a basket for consumables, you can give them a name, and I'll show you that in a few minutes as well. And then you put all your food products in there. So you put all your food products in the food basket, you put all your consumables basket products in the consumables basket. When we send that basket at the end of the day, the system will actually split up your order and send all the different parts of it to the relevant supplier. So you don't need to create, a order per supplier. You just create one basket with that type of product, and the system will do all that for you. And I'll show you in a few minutes how we can use that with your favorites. The favorite list down here then. So for all of you, you will have favorites built for you already, and you'll see that what that looks like in a few minutes when I log in. But essentially, these favorite lists are where your products that you buy on a daily basis are contained, right? So they're going to be built for you. You won't have to do it. Most of the products you buy will be contained in there. You can also create your own favorite lists, and I'll show you that in a few minutes as well if you want to. But ultimately, these favorite lists that are created for you, you'll see them, there'll be a little asterisk beside them. You can't change them. They should be, they're set for you from someone at head office has built them, and all of your products will be waiting in there for you. And I'll show you in a little while if you want to add your own favorites, you can do that as well, okay? But essentially, all of the products you buy should really be in here. It makes it much easier, so you don't have to go searching for them every single day, all right? Below that then, excuse me, you have what we call the expected deliveries 28-day overview. And this is really important from an end user point of view because it'll show you any of the orders that are due into the business. So you'll see here I have 60 in outstanding. So they're orders that were due into me before today, right? And all of your delivery schedules based from your suppliers are going to be saved in the system. So your suppliers provide that information and they keep that then up to date. So if I place an order today, but that supplier doesn't deliver until Wednesday, it'll show in here then as future deliveries for Wednesday. And as the dates roll by, these numbers will move automatically. But any of the orders that are relevant to you will be in here, and this is where we'll go to place to do some delivering in a little while. But essentially, anything in outstanding should have been delivered already. Anything in today's deliveries are due into the business today, and future deliveries are due in the future, obviously. What I would say is that we would normally say best practice is that you try and get your deliveries done on Procure Wizard the day they arrive into the business. Now, it's not always possible, you know, the business is busy, you might not get to do it. So within 24 hours, you're best to try and get in. The longer you leave it, the more chance that dockets are going to go missing, they get damaged, or the information will be illegible because, you know, somebody spilled coffee on it or whatever it might be. So the sooner you get them into the system, the better, okay? So when we talk about Procure Wizard, what we're talking about is a cloud-based purchasing system. So all of your products are up here with their prices. When you see a product to purchase it, the price on Procure Wizard is the maximum price that the supplier can charge you. The system will look after making sure that once you've ordered and delivered the product and the invoice comes in from the supplier, that it compares your delivery and your invoice to make sure you're only paying for what you delivered. So the system does all that for you. So all you're worried about is at the point of ordering that you have the products you want and the correct quantities. And then when you deliver it, that you're just delivering at the quantity level. And I'll show you what that means in a few minutes, because the system is looking after making sure that all the pricing is correct for you in the background, all right? So that's the home page, right? So when you come into Procure Wizard from your workspace, when you've selected the button, this is where it's going to land you in here, okay? So for most of you, you will have maybe 2 mini markets. So from a chef's point of view, you'll have food and you'll have consumables. Some of you may have access to more. You might have, you know, beverage or whatever it might be. But when you come into the system here, you click on new basket. That's going to open up the purchasing options for you. Down here is where you have your favorites, and I'm going to go in and place a couple of orders first with what are the kind of an example of some of the favorite lists that are going to be set up for you, and then I'll show you how to add products to a new favorite list if you want to create your own as well, okay? But essentially, when you were talking about placing an order, the easiest thing to do is to click on new basket here. When I click on new basket, it opens up this section here, and what we call the ordering portal. And you'll see in here that it's automatically selected leads for me. It'll pick your site automatically. If you have multiple sites, you would need to come in here and you'd need to select the site that you want to place an order for. Most people on the call here are going to be connected to one site, and it's going to default to that site for you. If you're connected to multiple mini markets, so for example, I'm using this as a chef today, I would be connected to food and to consumables. So the one we have set up in here for the demo is Carluccio's non-food, right? So these are my consumable products, and all I do is I select the mini market, and then I select next. You'll see in here then, I can give the order a name. I can put in requested by. There's an asterisk here to say that this is a mandatory field, and I'll put that in a second. You can also put an internal reference, and you can use tags as well. We'll ignore the tags for now. We'll just focus on these three here: the order name, requested, and internal reference. So giving the order a name can be really useful, because if I place an order today, and if it was for, you know, either a special event, or even if it's just a repetitive order, like, you know, a weekly order where you know, you order pretty much the same thing every Monday or the same thing every Tuesday, then you can come in here and you can just call it the Monday cups order if you want to do that. And that way, when you create this order, if you're looking to use this next week, you can actually search for it here by Monday cup order and reuse that order then and change the quantities. It can speed things up. So giving your order a name can be really useful. Again, you don't have to do it. And if you don't do it, your basket for your products will just be called Carluccio's non-food, all right? But you can give it an additional name as well. The requested by field first is mandatory. So you're just going to put your initials in here. And the internal reference, then you don't have to put anything on it unless you know what it is. So if it was somebody in the business that asked you to order something for them, you put it in here. Or if it was for something very specific, you could put the reference for that order in here. But once you have those details put in, you click on next, and you'll see here then that's going to give you this required delivery date. Now, the system will always default to the next possible day. So it's defaulting to tomorrow here. We normally just advise just to leave it at that, right? What the system will do then is that if any of the suppliers that are going to provide those products can't deliver tomorrow, it will default to deliver to their next available day. The system will highlight to you any of the suppliers that can't meet that delivery date, so that, you know, you're not going to be waiting tomorrow for that order to come in thinking it's coming in. The system will have told you already that they're not going to deliver. So essentially, you just leave that date the way it is. if you did want to place an order here and put a future delivery date on it for whatever reason, you can absolutely go in and change the date here. But just be advised, most suppliers are working on an ASAP business or basis, so they're trying to get these through as quickly as they can. So a lot of them may not pick up on that required delivery date. They'll assume you want it ASAP. So it's just, if it is something that you're kind of ordering for a couple of weeks down the line, it can be worth following up the supplier with the PO number just to remind them, look, this is an order that I won't need for a little while, and then you can change it. But normally you're going to leave that date as the next delivery date, and all you do then is you click on finish. And what that does then is it opens up this mini market, this consumables purchasing area, right? Now, what you'll notice over here on the left-hand side is we have favorites built already. And for most of you, when you log in, you're going to see these favorite lists that are there already. And you can see the way that they're done. They're consumables, packaging boxes and bowls, packaging cups and lids. So any of the products within here are the ones that you're typically going to use. And in a few minutes, I'll show you what the favorites look like, but I'll also show you how you can create your own favorites. So if there's specific products that aren't listed in those favorites, I'll show you how you can find them, and I'll show you how you can add them to a favorite list here as well, okay? So just to give you a quick overview of what you're looking at here, you'll see up here, there's a search bar for products. So if you did want to search for a product that wasn't in a favorite, you can search in here. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see this is our current basket. If you have two baskets open, which most of you could have in a day, so if you're the chef and you have a food basket open and a consumables basket, you can actually click on the little drop down here, and it'll show you any of your open baskets, and you can flick between them directly from here as well. So you don't necessarily have to go back to the home page, go into an old basket and then use it. The advantage with the baskets is once you open them, they'll stay on the system forever until you send them. So that way throughout the day you can log out, you can go back to your business, somebody calls you into the kitchen because you're busy. When you log back in, your basket's going to be waiting for you here, and you can just keep topping that up with products as you go, okay? Beside that, you'll see a value for the basket. So it's up here. We currently have 0 items in there, so it's on £0. Anybody who's done ordering online, if you've used Amazon, you've used any kind of online purchasing, you'll know what a basket is. You'll see that the items go in there and you get the general cost. This is where you'd go then to check out essentially, okay? You also have a new basket here, so you can click on that and you could open up another basket. So if you were in your consumables market and you wanted to buy some food, you just click on new basket and it'll then allow you to buy food in that basket as well. You can flick between the two, okay? You'll see here down here, we have another hint of what the order is. So we can see it's the Monday Cups order because I put that name on it. Again, you don't have to put a name on it. The mini market here is Carluccio's non-food. The site is Leeds, and the requested delivery date is coming in as tomorrow. Again, if any of the suppliers, once I've put products in there, can't meet that, it will tell me that, okay? So to actually place an order then, excuse me, there's two ways you can do it. One is through the favorites, which is by far the easiest, and it's the way we would always recommend doing it. And essentially what you'll do is you'll come in here to, say, packaging bags. You'll click directly on the favorites, and it'll show you the products that are in here. Now, you can kind of ignore these pictures. There will be pictures on your products, so you'll get an idea of what they are. These ones are just ones we have in the demo, so they may not be accurate. I think this one actually is some chicken instead of Carluccio's, but these are what the products will look like. So just to give you an idea of what you'll be looking at on the system, you'll see the picture of the product and you'll see the name of the product. You'll also see the category. So you can kind of ignore the categories a little bit because they won't really be relevant. This is how they're categorized on the system. What you're really going to be concerned with is the name of the product here as well, and the pack sizes one by one, right? Over here on the right hand side, you're going to see the price and it'll show you the pack size again. And if you want to add this into your shopping basket, it's literally just popping in the quantity here, clicking on add, and you can see here now it's got into my basket and I have 10 items and I have a price. So that's going to keep tallying as I keep adding the products, okay? So again, you can see the next product is Carluccio's large paper bag. Again, all I do here is I pop in my quantity and I click on add. Once I've done that favorite list, so I've finished with this products favorite list, I can go up here, look at my favorites, and I can see them all here under the favorite section. Or if I click on the little home button here, it'll bring me back to where I first landed in this ordering portal, and I can see all of my favorites here again, okay? So once you have one favorite list completed, all you do is you move to the next one. And when I click on packaging and bowls this time, you can see there's noodle box and there's medium rectangular takeaway tray lids and this kind of stuff. So all you do then is you put in the quantities for those products as well, and you work your way down through it, and then you can add those products. So if you remember with the other two, I'd put in my product quantity, and then I click on add. It will go into my basket. If you have lots of products in here, so if you have 10 or 15 products, you can just run down through it, put all the quantities in, and at the bottom then you can hit add 2 products or 5 products or 6 products, whatever it may be, and they pop into your basket. So it's really simple. So from your point of view, when you log in, you go and you open your basket by clicking on new basket. You pop in and you just start going through your favorite lists, and all the products that you need are going to be in here. And you literally just start populating that basket with those products. And then when you get to the end of all your favorites, literally all you have to do is just come in, put in the last quantity. So let's get another 15 of these. And now my basket is full with everything I need for the day. Excuse me. What I just want to show you is what these products look like when you find them on the system, right? So say for argument's sake, if I had used all my favorites, but there was still something I needed, right? You can search for that product up here, right, in the search product. So if I wanted to say search for 12-ounce cups, I could just start typing in here 12-ounce cups, and it's going to show me all of them here. Now, these is doing a filter for me. So based on what I've typed, once you get to the 3rd digit, it's going to start looking for it. If I was just to hit enter in that search, it'll then show me any of the products that have this 12-ounce listed in here. And then I can come in and I can actually select which ones I want, right? What I can also do is if I click directly on the product here, it'll give me the picture, all the details of the product. If I come down here, it'll show me, the pack size, product codes, all that kind of stuff. But up in the right-hand corner, what you'll see here is this little heart. So say for argument's sake, if I had my own favorite list, or I wanted to add this to another favorite list, I can click on the pink heart, and you can see it's telling me that it's already in the packaging, cups and lids. But if I wanted to add this into, say for argument's sake, the bags as well, right? I can just click on bags and click on plus, and that's going to add that to my favorite list as well. So I can do that. I can bulk out my favorite list if I want, right? Now, obviously, the favorite list that you're going to use on the system are already built for you. So when you log in for the first time, you're going to see the likes of packaging and bags, packaging cups and lids. They're going to be there, and the products that are relevant to you are going to be saved within that favorite list. But say for argument's sake, you wanted to create your own favorite list because you didn't like the way that one was laid out, or maybe there's this 2 or 3 products that you want to get outside of those that you need to be able to get, right? Ultimately, what you can do is in the manage favorites section here, under the drop down, or on the home page of the ordering portal, you'll see there's a manage favorites here. Or again, on the first login page for Procure Wizard, there's also a manage favorites here, right? You can actually go and create your own favorite list if you want. If you create your own favorite list on the system, nobody else can see it, right? It's just in here and it just belongs to you essentially, right? If you click on manage favorites, first thing it's going to do, show you over here, is it's going to ask you for the name, etc. If I click on new favorite list, say for argument's sake, I want to call this cleaning products. And I just click save. And here then you'll see my new cleaning products favorite list. You can see I currently have no products in there, but now if I want to add products to it, all I have to do is search up here for, say for argument's sake, cloth. We'll see if we have any cloths. We may not have on the demo. We don't. We just got to put a cup in here for sake of argument. So say for argument's sake, we want to add this one in here. We click on the product. We can see that it's here. We can click on our little heart, and we can add it to our favorite list in here if we want. And we're going to put that in cleaning products, and we click on add. So that way you start building your own favorites. If you search for a product and you see that the little heart up here is gray, it just means you haven't added it to a favorite list yet. If it's red, it could be in one or more. You can click on it and you can see here, I now have it in cleaning products as well, right? But for most of the time, you're not going to have to worry about that. The favorites are going to be there for you, and you're just going to order your products from these favorites. You're going to work your way down through them, keep adding them into your basket, and your basket is going to do the tally of all the products up here. Once you've worked your way through those favorite lists and you're ready to place an order, it's really as simple as coming up and clicking on the basket to do it. But I just want to show you is what happens if I had to run, if somebody called me into the kitchen, or I had to go to the front of the house, whatever it may be, and I'm going to come back to this order in a few minutes and I get logged out of the system. So the system will typically log you out after about 20 minutes. And then when you come back, you need to log back in. But ultimately, to do that, all you have to do is I'm going to close that completely. When I come back to my purchasing area here, you'll see up here I have all these open baskets. I can actually just click into it and find the order that I was working on earlier. and click on that, and it'll reopen it for me. There's all the products that I already had in my basket, and I can just continue my order, or I can now place my order if I want. So one second now, somebody in the chat. It's order consumables without using the favorite option first. Yeah, okay, perfect. So that's a good one. So essentially, without using the favorites, I think you've probably covered. Essentially, all you have to do is, if you come into your homepage here, when you come in, you'll open a new basket and you'll just pick your consumables mini market. So you can see I have a few in here. Essentially, it's Carluccio's non-food is the consumables one. You click on next, and you give a requested by. You can just put in your initials. You don't have to give it an order name. Click on next, click on finish, and now I'm in that consumables market as such. And then to search for the products, I would just do it up here. So technically you don't have to use your favorite options. You can just run through your products one by one. Hopefully that answers your question. If you want to see any more detail on it, you can just let me know. But other than that, that's essentially what you'll do. You'll just click on new basket, open up the basket in the relevant mini market. You don't have to use these favorites. You can search for the products as you go. It's not something I'd recommend. Really, you should have your favorites set up. It's much easier. And as I said, most of you will have them built for you, and you can add your own as you go. Okay. Once you're ready to place your order, I'll go back to my basket here. I have my 85 items up here. You can review your basket. So you click on here, you'll see the name of the basket. You'll see all the different products that are in here. But then to actually send the order, if you click down here on checkout, it'll start this process for you where you're going to now send this order. Okay. Now, excuse me. First thing you're going to see is you're going to see the basket total. So it's going to give you a glimpse of, how much am I actually spending. As I scroll down, then you can see all of the products here that are due in from that supplier. Now, obviously, what you'll see is that these are coming from one supplier. If there was multiple suppliers in here, you could, select them one at a time as well, or you could just submit the order to all of the suppliers at the same time. If any of these suppliers weren't able to meet my delivery date tomorrow, it would show me in red writing when they would actually deliver it. So at that stage, then you could say, well, okay, I know it's not going to be here Wednesday or Thursday, whatever it might be, right? But if you've gone down through here and you're looking at all the stuff you put in your basket and you go, yeah, I'm happy with that, you can literally click submit order to supplier, and we'll do that in a second. But if you wanted to amend the quantity, so maybe you went in and you go, actually, do you know what? I don't need 15 bags. I only need 10. You can just come in here and change that to 10, or you can overtype it. Once you've done that and you're happy with all the products that you have in your basket, you come down here and you hit submit order to supplier. And then what's going to happen then, when my computer catches up, happens then is your order goes to your supplier, and you'll see it then appearing over here in your awaiting delivery in this expected delivery section, right? Now, once the order has gone to the supplier, the system normally flashes up. I won't do it in the demo, but normally flashes up saying your order has been placed to your supplier. If it has to go for approval, the system will tell you your order has gone for approval and who your approvers are. And at the very end of this session, I'll just keep anybody on for a minute who will do approvals to show you how to do that, okay? But essentially, once your order is gone, it will appear in here normally in future deliveries, right? This is where it's going to sit. And then once it rolls into the delivery date, it will be in today's deliveries. For argument's sake, when I do the couple of deliveries here, I'm actually going to use the outstanding deliveries, and we're going to pretend that these are today's deliveries, okay? But before I go do these deliveries, does anybody have any questions on opening up that basket and how to search for products or how to use the favorite list? Everybody clear enough on that? And this session is being recorded, so it'll be available to you again if you want it. But as I said, the learning section within your workspace as well will have this covered as well. But everybody happy enough with that? If not, just raise your hand or just throw a question in there. I don't see anything at the moment, so we'll keep moving. But essentially, that's placed in the order, okay? So when we're talking about delivery on Procure Wizard, really the most important thing is that the delivery docket that comes to the back door that somebody has signed is that it's going to be the same as the one on the system here, all right? So what I just want to show you first is how to process delivery where the order is correct, okay? So essentially, when you come in here, I'm going to use this one here for 750. You'll see the name of the supplier, the value of the order, and the date it was due in. And you'll see the PO number here on the left-hand side. You can click directly on any of this and it'll bring you into the order. And when you do that, it opens up the order. Now, there's a couple of things I want to show you in here just so we can be clear that all the orders look the same. So every order on the system has the same kind of template to it. You see these tabs across the top. Because I came into it from my delivery section, it's automatically brought me into my delivery tab here, and this is where I could confirm my delivery on the system. What you'll notice is there's a little clock icon here beside it, because this delivery is outstanding. The purchase order is complete, so it's a little tick, and actually the supplier has already completed the invoice, so there's a little tick here as well. Nothing can happen with this until I complete my delivery, but once I do that, it'll move to the next section on the system. It's currently in awaiting delivery. It will then go through awaiting invoice if it's waiting for the invoice, and it'll move down through then for your finance teams to look after it. But from the delivery side of things, there's a couple of things to note with these tabs across the top, okay? So you'll see here the first one is the details tab. And within the details tab, it's essentially just the details for the order. So it's when it was created, who created it, what unit, what supplier did it go to, etc., etc. And even if you scroll down here, it'll even tell you if it's been exported to your accounts package, so that the supplier has been paid, etc. The purchase order is exactly that. So this is the order that we placed with the supplier, and this is what they get. The order they receive is actually quite a formal looking thing. It nearly looks like an invoice in itself. But there's no way then they can mess up the order, because it's very clear what it is. It even contains their own SKU code, so they can refer to their own product catalog, and that's what the order looks like. The next one is the delivery tab, and we'll come back to that in a second when we do the delivery. The invoice tab is where the invoice from the suppliers will be, and in here you can see it's an invoice in there already. The related tab, any orders that leave the basket at the same time. So if I had placed that order and I had parts of it went to one supplier and parts of it went to, say, Bid Food, and some of it went to another one, it would actually then show me all three of those orders in here. So it's a handy way of saying, well, if I can't see, this cup or this product on the list, where did it go? It could be up here with one of the other suppliers, so you could always check to make sure what order it's on, okay? Two of the really important areas on here are going to be comments and also attaching a picture up here, okay? So say, for argument's sake, if in the delivery I was processing my delivery, and for some reason a box of these cups was damaged, or some of it, it had marks on it, or it was wet or whatever, and I wanted to refuse it. I'll show you how you can do it in a second. But what you can also do is you can put a comment in then. So up here in the comment section, you can put a little comment in just to say, refused one box of cups as they were damaged. And then what you do is you pick the comment type. Now, comments are really useful, because what they're going to make happen is that if there are issues with the invoice, so if the supplier tries to charge you for that box of cups that you refused, or if somebody's questioning why was something done, having this comment in means that they just don't have to go chase you down. It'll be in there. Will you be using Procure as a Bid Food, Oliver K and Yates? Quite likely any of those big suppliers, you'll be able to use them through there. When you log into the system and you open up your basket, you will see a list of the suppliers in each of the mini markets there for you as well. And if you're not sure if a supplier is available to you, you can do a search in the left-hand side in their product locator to find their products as well. And I would imagine internally then, whenever you're about to start purchasing, you'll be told who your suppliers are. Yeah, so the delivery dates are all set up per site by supplier. So if they deliver to one site as opposed to another on a Monday or Tuesday, they're built into the system. So all of those delivery schedules are set site by site. So we can have 100 different sites, and they could have 100 different delivery days in there, or delivery schedules, and they'll all be set up that way as well then. So it's a good question. So back to the comments here. So essentially with these comments, once you've put them in, you have to decide what kind of comment they are, and this is quite important. So you'll notice that I've set this one up to be a public comment, which means that my organization, so anybody within my site or in my head office, can see the comment, but also my supplier can see the comment. So for something like this where I was refusing a box, absolutely I'd leave that as public, and I'd let the supplier be able to see it. If I didn't want them to see it, what I can do is I can put in a comment here, and I can make it a private comment. So it means only my organization can see it. The other one that's quite useful is the quality feedback. In here, if you put a comment in, it also makes it available to what we call the quality feedback report. So somebody within your organization can run a report on a supplier, and they can see all of those comments that have been put in there, dates, times, and the reference to the order as well. So if you have, suppliers that are constantly late, or you're always having to refuse stuff at the back door because it's damaged, whatever it might be, you can actually track it within the system, and then it can be used to kind of have a sit-down negotiation with the supplier. So the comments are really, really important that you use them, okay? If for whatever reason I did refuse those cups at the back door, you can even take a picture of them and attach them to the order as well, right? So if I was to show you here, we go and look at the delivery section. Up here in the top right hand corner, there's a delivery document section. And there's one for the purchase order, there's one for the paper invoice, but there's also one if you create a credit on the system. But essentially all you do here is you click on here, and it'll ask you to attach a document. So if I was to click on select file, it would open up my file browser. I could pick a file and I can attach it. If I have Procure Wizard open on a phone or a tablet, in here when I click on delivery documents, it will give me an option to open my camera, and I can literally just take a picture and I can just attach it on instantly. So I don't even need to upload it to my computer and then put it on. The mobile device will actually do that for me. And I can select the file, attach it here, and that folder then is attached to this order forevermore. Can you pick feedback, comment, and public comment at the same time? No, you can't, but a public comment will, a quality feedback comment is a public comment, so it is available to your supplier as well. So if you wanted your supplier to see it, that's where you go to do it. Any of those kind of quality feedback comments are ones that you would be, happy to share with your supplier anyway, because typically they tend to be issues with the supplier. But you can't pick two. You could put in one comment as a private one, and then you could do something else as the public one if you wanted to. Okay, so that's where you can attach those delivery documents if you need to. But really, what's most important and what you're going to do most of with delivery is just deliver and check the quantities of the products, right? So you'll see here I'm in my delivery tab. To complete my delivery on Procure Wizard is actually pretty straightforward, right? A couple of really important things to note. The delivery date here is not the date you're sitting at your computer processing this in. It's the delivery date that's on the docket at the back door. So if you remember nothing else, it's just to remember that the delivery on Procure Wizard is going to be a digital version of the paper delivery docket at the back door, okay? So you're just making sure that they match. So in here, you'd pick the delivery date that's there. We're going to cheat. We're going to say that it is today, which is the 29th. And then you pick the delivery note number, and that's going to be the delivery docket number that's on the docket from your supplier. You don't have to hit save on either of these, because when you come down here and you hit confirm delivered, it will be saved anyway. I tend to just click on them as force of habit, because if I make any changes down here or I get called away or I don't get a chance to confirm it, it's just locked them in place. It just means I don't have to type them in again, essentially, okay? But once I have them pieces of information in, I can scroll down here and here's all the products that I ordered. If for any reason I had refused any of these products at the back door, I could quite simply come in and I could change the quantity here to be whatever I wanted it to be. So if there was only one of these actually came in, you just overtype it for one, or you can leave it as two. If this order is then correct, all you have to do is come down here and hit confirm delivered, and that is now moved on to the finance section. You don't have to worry about it anymore. All you would do is you'd come down here to your 28-day overview. You'd look at any other deliveries that are outstanding here today, and you literally just move on to the next delivery. You click on the PO number and you repeat the process of getting those deliveries in. Just want to show you one of the things you may have to face in here. You put in your date, put in your delivery docket number, and what you'll notice here, if I scroll down, is that we have these swap options on these products. So say for argument's sake, a supplier came along and they sent you an alternative item, right? And you were going to accept it at the back door. So say for argument's sake, they sent you large paper bags as opposed to small. You could just refuse them. So you could just say, zero, we didn't get those products, I'm not taking them. But if you wanted to swap those products, there is a swap button here. And essentially what that will do when you hit swap, it will look at the products that are on their price file, look at what was due to come in, and in here then you can go, well, there's the small paper bags they've sent me instead. I click on two, I click on add, and I confirm. And what it'll then do is it'll change that order to two small paper bags instead of two large. If you didn't want the large and you weren't going to change it to paper, you just put zero on the quantity here and you confirm it, zeros that out. But if you do want to swap the items, it's important that this matches the paper document, okay? But if you zeroed it on the document and you scratched it off, whatever it might be, you didn't take them, in here you would simply just not swap them, you'd zero it out, simple as that. And again, once you're happy then, you just click on confirm delivery, and that's done. So that's doing a delivery, changing the quantities if you need to, swapping the product if they've sent you an alternative product. You have put in your comments, and also with your delivery documents, then you can do that. What some places like to do is they actually like to take a picture of the delivery docket itself and attach the delivery docket here. So there might not be anything wrong with the order, but essentially what you can come along and do is take a picture of the delivery docket and you can save it onto this PO and it'll be saved there forevermore. It's up to you then what you do delivery dockets internally, but that's just one of the examples of what you can attach onto the document, okay? So one of the things I want to show you here is just updating quantities from the invoice. So say for argument's sake, I come down here, and I'm going to do my order or my delivery for this order here. When I come into my delivery document, first thing I'll always do, I have to make sure my date is correct, and then I put in my delivery docket number. Now, on this order, what you'll notice is that the invoice has already been done. So if there was any big changes on the order, so say for argument's sake, on the delivery docket at the back door, there was more or less of these products on it, there's a good chance that the invoice may be correct. So what you could do is you could check the invoice. You can go, oh yeah, I can see they've actually updated the products that came to the back door. You then don't have to go to the hassle of actually changing all the quantities here. You can click on this button, update quantities from invoice, and it will then update the quantities here for you. Simple as that. All right. Now, that's not going to happen all the time because normally when you're doing your deliveries, the invoices aren't going to be there waiting for you. But if they are, you'll be able to do that in here. Okay. One of the other things you can do. That's fine. Go down here. Excuse me. So if we come down here and we just confirm this delivery for a second. Perfect. Cool. So you can see that delivery is now complete. If for whatever reason you've completed the delivery on the system and then you realize you've made a mistake, this delivery can be unlocked, but it would be someone with administration level within your business. So you'll know who the people on site who have admin access, etc. But typically, there once this is locked down, you can't unlock the delivery. You'll see here there's an unlock delivery button, and somebody with admin access can unlock the delivery if you've made a mistake. But if you don't see that unlock delivery button, it means you don't have the admin access to do that. So it's just to be sure that you know who your administrator is. You probably know who the people are. You're going to have access to that. But if not, then you can just ask your manager and they can check for you. But if you ever need to unlock the delivery, somebody will have access to that unlock delivery button. The reason everybody doesn't get it is that if you're to unlock a delivery that's already been exported or paid, it won't actually have any bearing on the order. So it's just to bear that in mind. If you create back orders, so if you place an order where part of it arrives today and some of it might arrive next week, and on the docket it has, to follow or whatever it might be, there is the option for creating back orders. Won't go into it now because you're probably not going to need it anytime soon, but bear in mind that the create back orders will also be available in your learning section and workspace, and essentially the system does it for you, kind of creates a separate order based on the back order. But that's the few variations you might find with delivery where you have to kind of swap the products or whatever it might be. The only other one that you may have to do really with delivery, so let's see, yep, is if you place an order and for whatever reason there's something else has to be added to the order. So if I was to look here at this one for argument's sake, and I look at this delivery, do my date, delivery docket number, and you can see here that I have, 4 different products. So, but say for argument's sake, I'd placed that order and the truck came in this morning and I just said to him, I said, you don't have any, domed lids or dome cups or whatever it might be. And he adds that onto your delivery docket. You can then add it to this digital one as well by selecting add catalog product. And what that then will do is it will give you this option to say, well, here's all the products that this supplier has. You can search them up here. So you could just search for cup, and you can search the catalog and it'll show you any of the cup products, and you can go, well, there's the one I want. I got 2 more boxes, and I click on add and I confirm. So all I've done really is I'm just adding that product on here to make sure that my digital docket is going to match the paper docket at the back door. And that's all the key thing with the delivery on Procure Wizard is. You'll notice is that as I've gone through the deliveries here, the only boxes that are open to me are these quantity boxes. I can't amend the price. So if your supplier provides the price on the delivery docket, don't worry about it. If it doesn't match here, don't worry about it. You've locked in the price at the point of purchase. So when the invoice gets done by your supplier, it will compare your delivery and your invoice for you automatically anyway. So you won't need to do that, okay? One of the other things I just want to show you here, in here. So I've opened the basket. I'm going to go shopping. And do you remember a little while ago, I showed you how to put the name on an order? If you want to find those orders, up here in the top right hand corner, you'll see one called previous orders. If I click on that, In here, you'll see all of my previous orders, everything I've placed within this this mini market. If I want to then search within here, I can search up here, or I can scroll down through it and I can filter as well if I want. I can look at the last 30 days. I can look at specific suppliers. So if I looked here, any of the orders I placed with that supplier would be here. You'd see the name, and then you can actually go and reuse the order if you want. So with the order I want, say for argument's sake, if it's this one here, I can click directly on it and it will just open up that order for me. Or what I can do is, you'll see here there's like this little recycle button. If I click on that, it will actually ask me if I want to reuse this order. And essentially what that would do is put all of the products from this order into my basket ready for me. So say for argument's sake, if I'd built this order, called it my Monday order, and all of the products I needed were in there, I could just then click the button and they'd all appear in my basket. I don't need to go through my favorites. I don't need to do anything, and they'll all be waiting for me. Once I've done that, I can actually come into the basket and I can update and amend the quantities here as well. So say for argument's sake, yeah, I got these last week, but I don't need them. I can delete them. Or if I needed an extra 2 boxes of these this week, I can then add 2 to that, and then I can submit my order. So our previous orders can be really, really useful for doing orders that are kind of repetitive, where you might be buying the same kind of stuff week in, week out. Yeah, so the product codes, so there's 2 different ways you can search. So you'll have the product codes, which would be the supplier SKU code. So if that's what they are on ProNet, that's what they'll be. You can also search by what we call the Procure Wizard ID, which is a secondary code. But the easiest way normally to search for product is just by the name. If you do know the supplier's code, you can search for it here. But I would imagine the codes that were on ProNet were the supplier SKU codes, and those SKU codes are attached to all the products here as well. So they'll be there for you. So that's doing the ordering and delivering in a really basic way. What I would suggest is that once you kind of get into Workspace, just go find that learning. Again, don't forget it's in Find Learning under Hospitality Procure Wizard, or just search for Procure Wizard, and it's the ordering and delivering sections, and they're broken then down into the smaller sections for you. You can do one bit at a time, right? Ultimately with this, just make sure you can get logged in and make sure you have access in your Workspace to the access button, and that you have Procure Wizard listed in here for you. If you don't, just someone in your administration can update that for you. The last part I want to do is just to do with approving orders if you're going to be an approver. So anybody who won't be approving orders, you can finish up now if you want. Anybody who will be, you can stay on the call. But before I let everybody go, does anybody have any other questions that we didn't cover there? And it's easy for me to say that when you don't know what you don't know, but ultimately that is the core of it. It's pretty straightforward. But if anybody has any questions, just shout at me there. The go live date, I'm not 100% sure. I will find that out for you, and somebody will let you know. I'm just trying to see if I have a potential go live here. No, it wasn't sent over, but somebody will let you know. Any other questions? You're more than welcome, not a bother at all. Yeah, fire away. Hi.
So my question was also, when does it go live?
Mm-hmm.
How would that work with different supplier dates, with different orders in advance? So would the system pick up the date automatically for us? Do I have to change the date because everything goes into one basket, but every supplier delivers on different days?
They're all different. Yeah, exactly. So when you open up that basket, right, what the system does, like I said, it automatically defaults to tomorrow, right? Any of the suppliers, any of those suppliers who don't deliver tomorrow, it will assign the correct next available delivery date to them. Because the supplier we were using on the demo here doesn't have
so
a delivery
it could be a little bit of a problem, because the next delivery date, so for example, we place an order on Friday for Wednesday, but my next delivery date is on Monday.
Yeah, well,
can
then
I
you
change,
can change.
Can I change the date manually?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So same like we do now in the system, we have to change the dates manually.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So your suppliers will know they can put lead times in as well. But typically when you open the basket, if you know that this order is for, the second next available delivery date, just change the date to that one.
Okay. And the last question I've got is in regards to credits. How would I know if my credits went through?
So when the credits are processed in the system, up here in this little kind of view order section, everything here on the left-hand side is your purchases. Everything here on the right-hand side is your credit. So if you create a credit, it'll be in here an investigation credit, but the status of the orders will change. So if you noticed when I was going into all those orders, let me just find another one here, I'll show you. When you get to any of these orders here, you'll see there's a status here, awaiting delivery. This will change to pending investigation credit, and when it's been approved, it'll say confirmed credit. Simple as that. So it actually updates within the order then as well. Oh, there's somebody else there. Any other questions?
Yeah. Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning, Ronan. Yeah. Basically, so is this just for Yates for the time being, or is this like going to be?
No, it'll be. No,
like
it's a Yates is just here. Everything will be there. So all of your suppliers will be up there. The Yates one is just on the demo, just to kind of keep it familiar to you. But I think BidFood will be one of the biggest ones there, and most of them will be in place. So I'm not too sure who's administering your suppliers, but when you log in to the system, you can actually, most of you will access to the admin section here. You can actually look at your suppliers. So in the manage supplier section, you'll be able to see a list of them. Or when you go into the mini market itself, you'll actually see there's a list of your suppliers here as well. So what I would normally suggest to most people is when you log into your mini market for the first time, so you go into your food or into your non-food, just have a quick look at the drop down here, suppliers, and it'll actually show you who your suppliers are.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, that's it. Thanks. It's like I'm shopping from Timu at the moment, so I've got to get used to this.
Yeah, it's a little step up from that, but look, ultimately it's pretty straightforward. What I normally say is just don't be afraid of it. The system is governed by what we call roles, so there's nothing you can break on the system. You just get in and you just start placing your orders. We do stock take on here as we order and receive products. So yeah, depending on the way it's set up, there can be stock taking done in the system, but it'll be baby steps. So the first thing is get in, place the orders, get comfortable with doing the deliveries, etc. As to moving away from stock link, that kind of stuff, I'm not too sure what your internal movements are with your deck of products, but I would imagine if this is going in, then that could be changing. But someone at administration level can update that for you.
Okay, so basically, go on.
Does this link into StockLink?
It does, yeah. So it would have connections in the background. As to when and where all those kind of things will be done, I don't know. For now, really, it's kind of get in and just start doing the ordering really more than anything.
Okay.
So do I have a couple of senior people on the calls, kind of ops managers, senior managers?
Yep.
Perfect. So if anybody else is not, you can head away, and thank you for your time. And then for anybody who's senior who may be approving orders, I just want to keep you for an extra 2 minutes just to go through that process with you. So anybody who doesn't need to be there for that, you can head away. And thank you very much for your time this morning. But for those who do need to see this, no problem, more than welcome.
Blad, can you stay on for this, please?
Okay. Yeah.
So this is pretty straightforward, right? So the way the system is set up is that the users within the mini markets are given approval limits. So how much they can spend before would have to go to a senior manager to be approved, right? That can be amended by administration. It's dictated by yourselves. We don't set those limits. So whatever way the users will be set up, they'll be there for them, right? The only difference from a user's point of view when they place the order is instead of it going straight to the supplier, it'll go to an approver within the business to be approved, right? As an approver in the system, you will receive an email to say order number is awaiting approval. You can see the value of the order in the email, and you can even approve or reject it directly from the email itself. So if you see an order for, consumable products for £300, you might say, yeah, I'm just going to approve it. There's literally an approve and reject button directly in there. If you want to see what that order is first, to make sure you're happy with what it is, within the email, you'll see open the order, and it will actually link you straight into Procure Wizard. You'll be able to log into the system. Or if you've logged in through Workspace and you haven't looked at your emails, once you get into Procure Wizard here, you'll see there's a My Approval section down on the left-hand side here on the homepage. When you click into that, eventually, there we go, you'll see here any of the orders that are awaiting your approval. Now, from here, you can see the supplier, the value, who created it, and you can either approve or reject it directly from here. But to actually review the order, what you can do is you can click on the little pen and paper here, and it'll open up this order for you. So you can see I'm in the purchase order, and somebody has ordered muffins, 225 of them, coming in at 2,283. At this stage, you can approve it, you can decline it, or if you wanted to, you can even alter the order. So I can come in here and I can say, well, you can have your muffins, but you're having 150 of them, not 220, and you can save and continue. And now you can go in and you can actually approve the order. Now, ultimately, if you make changes to it or you alter it, in the status log here of the order, those changes will always be saved. So you'll still see that the original order was X. It was amended by the approver and then it was sent. And that's just some of the small things you can do with amending it, right? If you see 10 orders in here and you just want to approve or reject them all, just use the tick boxes here and you can approve or reject them all in one go. But most approvers will be approving directly from the email. They won't be logging into the system unless they see a really large number that they want to go in and check. And then you can come in here and you can check your approvals. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Cool. What I would say is I'm not 100% sure what your go live date is, right? But once I'll ask the question and be sent on to you. What I would suggest is that if you know you should be normally receiving orders for approval, right? Say for argument's sake, if there's a consumable order that you'd be expecting to get the approval email on a Monday, just keep an eye out for it. And if you don't see it, just check your spam folder. Because there's all those live links, there's about 2 or 3 different live links contained within that email. Unless you've whitelisted that email address in your emails, it could end up in your spam folder. So just on day one, find it. If it ends up in your spam folder, you just right click saying not spam, or just drag it back into your inbox and it'll remember it from the next time. One thing to remember, and this is a really common one for approvers, if it's in your spam folder, the approve and reject buttons won't work. So your email provider will actually shut off those live links. So you need to move it back to your inbox before you can click on the buttons, if that makes sense. Is that okay with everybody?
Perfect.
Cool. Look, if there's any other questions, you absolutely shout me back. The chat for this will be open for the day, so you can just throw anything in there and I'll come back to you. But someone from your side will be in contact with you to get your links into Workspace. Probably some of you using Workspace already. Are anybody on the call here logging into Workspace already?
No, I don't think there is anyone, to be fair.
Okay, fair enough. No problem. Well, you'll receive that email. I would imagine typically what they tend to do when we do these sessions is that shortly after you've received your training, you'll get your live link to welcome you into Workspace, so you know where you're going. Because it can be a little bit overwhelming for people if they get access to something like that and they haven't been shown what it is. But I'd imagine they'll arrive shortly. But I'll ask that question after the session just to see when it's coming back to you. Is that okay with everyone?
Yep.
Super. Excellent stuff. Well, look, guys, thank you very much for your time. Have a really good day. And as I said, if you do have any other questions, fire them into the chat and I'll see them popping in throughout the day. But apart from that, have a really good Monday.
Cheers,
Cheers, Brennan.
Good stuff. Thanks a million, guys. Have a good
Thanks.
day. Bye. Bye-bye.
Cheers.